What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Arnold Telega-Arda.
And I'm Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser, and it's been 3 weeks. We apologize.
Yeah.
We really apologize to our fans.
Life happens, man.
And we've been making moves.
Yes. Tell them what you've been up to. Well, before we get into all that, we have a special guest today.
You know, we follow people's journey into wrestling, but we've got my boy Drew Chiminec. You know, if you don't know him, you're going to know him after this episode because Drew has helped me out so much in wrestling. Drew, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You've interviewed me with WWE. Now I'm asking you the questions.
Yeah,
I want
it's
people,
weird.
I want people to get to know you. So
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your story. I always say don't die with the story and you tell it.
Yep, no, definitely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. But before we get started, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe and leave a comment down section below. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, make sure you guys give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear and write us a review so we know what we can do better. And, you know, as we mentioned earlier, we've been gone for a couple of weeks now. You've been stepping out of your comfort zone.
I was just talking to my boy Drew. I said, I'm freaking proud of myself because I conquered something that I was fearful of. You know, when I was given a script to read for a Broadway musical, I said, yeah, I'll do it. You know, they're going to, take care of me and everything. But once I got it, it was overwhelming. And the director, who I couldn't stand at first, I fell in love with because he said, it's just like working out, it's just muscle memory that you just haven't worked out. And I worked out with him every day on the script, worked out with Nat King Ho, who has experience in theater. And when it was showtime, I really let loose and I performed, man. So I feel like if I can conquer Broadway theater, I can conquer anything. That confidence level is so high, man, so high. When it was time to go live in front of the crowd, I wasn't worrying about the lines. I was worrying about the story, the emotion.
Wow.
And the one thing that's different between wrestling and Broadway is that with WWE, you perform in front of 10, 20,000 people. You can hide, but in Broadway theater, there's 100 people that night, that one night only, in front of a live crowd. They're right up on you. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. And I hit a home run, man. And I never give myself credit. Never, but I'm giving myself fucking credit.
Proud of you, man. And it's funny that you said that because that's actually what Finn Balor said recently.
And that's what I just told.
Right?
That's what I just told Drew.
Yeah,
damn it, my secret's out. It's true, man.
Yeah.
It is so true.
You're not supposed to report on people's sources.
Yeah. I heard you smirk, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna."
Here we go.
But yeah, bro, it's the truth, man.
Yeah.
There was nowhere for me to, and I cried I had a solo.
Oh,
and
wow.
I cried like a baby. I posted stuff, whatever stuff I posted is stuff my mom took,
Yeah.
So the goal for the Theality TV project is for it to get picked up on Amazon Prime. So that's what their goal is to do. And they're in post-production now, so we'll see how it goes. Like I said, after I was done doing my solo and I came to the back, I was crying my eyes out.
Wow.
Tears of joy.
And you still had to go on stage after this,
No,
though,
I had a bit of a break, but I was putting eye drops into my eyes because my eyes were bloodshot red.
Wow.
And I went up to the girls that were part of my solo who were dancing and stuff and singing, and I said, "You see this?" Because from the 2.5 weeks, I was game face,
sure.
First one there, last one to leave, script in my hand, trying to get it right. But after I was done and I was doing this to them, the girls were like, this is why we do this,
Yeah.
This is why we love this, because of the reaction that I got. And it was a 2 hour and 10-minute musical, and
wow.
I could hear the people rooting for me because it's a musical about marriage equality.
Yeah.
So I was chasing this guy, Randy, and I could hear the people rooting for me, cheering for me.
Yeah.
And then when we finally kissed at the end, the place erupted.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I would definitely do it again in a heartbeat. I'm like, what's next for me? What's next? What's the next project I can do?
Amazing. Was your character like a cowboy or something?
I was a politician running for Congress.
Got it.
And I was a blogger, and I had a hoedown.
That's why I said that because of your outfit. I'm like, this looks a little Western.
Yeah.
Casual Fridays.
Casual Fridays,
And
man.
the cowboy boots I had on were my first gift to myself when I got signed to WWE.
Wow.
And I moved to Tampa, Florida. Western wear in Tampa. I bought a pair of cowboy boots because wrestlers back in the day would have the tight jeans and the cowboy boots.
Yep.
So they came into use, and yeah, I was very happy, man. Very happy.
That's amazing. Proud of you, man.
Yeah, I'm ready to do it again.
Yeah. You kind of caught the theater bug a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I would definitely do it again. I was telling Drew on the car ride, Denzel Washington's one of my favorite actors, and he would rather do theater than do the movies and stuff like that.
You know, surprisingly, a lot of actors feel that way. Like
That's what I say, yeah.
John
That's crazy.
Stamos, like he does like Broadways for fun. Like, well, when he doesn't have any upcoming gigs or
Bryan Cranston.
yes,
Yeah.
Vanessa Hudgens is a huge Broadway fan. But
Bro,
yeah,
I'm
man.
seriously addicted. You have no idea how much stuff I had to remember.
I'm sure.
I still had the book all the way up until like showtime because I needed to know what scene we were in. I didn't want to get lost and
Yeah.
then get on stage. I
Sure.
just need to look at what scene we were in, and I just knew to go.
Yeah.
The words were nothing, man.
Wow.
It was nothing.
That's awesome, man.
But can we talk about this guy on my right?
Oh, please, let's do it.
Just straight from Jersey, cross country trip. Drew, take us on that journey. You have traveled from Jersey to LA to make moves.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I mean, I'd never driven cross country before. My wife and I hopped in the car with our 2 cats in the back seat. Luckily, despite warnings from everyone not to drive the cats cross country, it was fine. Like everyone was like, they're gonna be crying the whole time. They're gonna drive you crazy, but we got them this giant ass carrier that went across pretty much the whole
they're
back
good.
seat. It was great. We
And
gave
what-
them some catnip and stuff.
I mean, as a fur dad myself, like my cats are pretty chill too, so I kind of get
I know,
that.
I always appreciate meeting another cat dad.
Yeah, absolutely. man.
Didn't you lose one of them?
All right. So
Oh my god.
it was horrifying. Everyone, it was
During
it was
the trip?
terrible. Yeah. So we didn't actually lose him. We thought we lost him.
Yeah.
So we've been staying at these Motel 6s because they don't charge for cats and stuff like that. So it was our first night. We stayed in Roanoke, Virginia, and we're getting ready, packing up with the car in the morning. This is the first night where we actually let them stay in the room with us, which was a huge mistake because they were crawling over our faces at 3 a.m. like meowing, crying.
Aww.
But in the morning, packed everything up. We were just about to leave, and then we're like, "Where's Freddie?" And it's funny because my cat's
I didn't know that.
Freddie Mercury instead of Freddie Mercury.
That's cool.
Good. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
I know. So it's actually named after you. No. Yeah. But so we were looking everywhere. We're like, "Where's Freddie?" And we couldn't find him. Tore apart the bed, which you should never do in a Motel 6.
Sure.
You should never see what's under the bed in a Motel
Yeah,
6.
yeah. That's a big no-no.
Yeah, and we couldn't find him. And then, like, literally my wife's outside walking through the parking lot with the bag of treats, like, whatever. There's a bunch of stray cats who were coming, but not our cat. And
Wow.
I just look over, and he's just, like, casually popped out of somewhere.
Oh,
And
man.
we still don't know where he was, but that was definitely a crazy way to start the trip. And then every night since then, we just brought them straight into the bathroom. They didn't need to know there was another room outside
Sure.
there. And,
Yeah, my heart would drop, man, if that happened.
It was insane. Like, after looking around, we just stopped and we're just like, I legit have no idea. Like, usually I'm good at, in situations like that, kind of calming down my wife if she's upset or like vice versa. But I literally didn't know what to say.
Well, here's the thing, like with cats. So I have a dog and 2 cats, and dogs are so different because they're super needy, which I kind of like. They're dependent on you. Like you're their whole world. For cats, it's the same thing, but you got to work hard to earn that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cats know that they know their value, and they're like, there's this meme that goes around that's like saying like, it's like a picture of a cat. It's like, oh, pet me. And the owner's about to do it, and it goes, with your eyes. So
awesome. It's funny. I don't remember where I saw it, but there was some article that cats probably, like, there's some studies or something that say that cats are constantly trying to kill you, but they're too small to actually do anything about it. So they just like, it's just funny when you look at cats that way and think about that they're actually trying to kill you right now, but can't because they're tiny.
But
You were saying you don't even know what day it is.
Yeah,
because
so
like
disoriented.
I said we needed to get him. I know we haven't seen each other in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I said we needed to get Drew in the house because he's gonna get busy. I know he's gonna get busy, and like literally just cross country here to be on our episode.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, man. And
Yeah,
you're like,
no, definitely. It's great. I talked with Fred a while ago.
Yeah.
About doing it with you guys, but I knew I was gonna move here, so might as well
In
hop
person better.
fill up this side of the frame.
yeah.
Don't say that.
Yeah, but nah, it's all good.
But you're a jack of all trades, man. Video creator, editor, writer, producer, director.
Yeah.
So LA's the best place for you to
know.
be.
It's funny because I was working at a TV station. I had my own business for the past 6 years, and I haven't stopped doing videos. But my main gig for the last year was working as an editor and videographer at a local news station in New Jersey, and it was terrible. It was not anything to do with the industry itself. It was like the people in charge were it just wasn't. They didn't know what they were doing. They were like marketing people, not station managers, and they were not great managers.
Right.
I hope they don't listen to this, but but yeah. So it was at that point. I'm like, okay, we're in New Jersey. What else can I do with video stuff in New Jersey? I don't want to work in New York, and I don't want to work in Philly. So what are our options? And my wife and I have always kind of like half joked about moving out here, and I'm looking at all like the jobs and everything. Even though obviously there's more competition because this is the place to be, but there's opportunity. Yeah. And I'm a hard worker, and I feel like at some point I'll find something consistent that that'll be good because I just put in the time and I'm confident in what I do. So I was just like let's do it. Let's just move out. She was on board, so it worked out. But yeah, I've just tried to do a little bit of everything. I try to stay well rounded, and when you're freelancing and doing that side of it, you kind of have to know how to do everything. Yeah, absolutely. You want to be a one-stop shop, especially if a lot of people and a lot of companies have smaller budgets. Yeah, especially in New Jersey, it's like kind of take what you get. So I've always tried to stay as well rounded and constantly learning and evolving my skills. I just learned After Effects, so I'm just trying to stay up with like current trends and stuff like that. So
well, I mean, like I looked at your your website. You've done so many things from movie trailers to like you've done a lot of like highlights for himself, for Fred.
I try not to put all my videos of Fred on there so they think I'm not exclusive.
It's funny, before I actually met Fred, I actually saw the video that you shot for him, which was A Day in the Life of Darren Young. And that was the first time that I kind of got to see Fred as a person outside of the character, because I always see how how he performs on WWE and all that, but I never got to see the back end of his schedule when he's not.
I always love seeing those.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
I got to meet it or make it for him.
Yeah, and that was like a jam-packed day, and I think you did a great job capturing everything, man. From his very first podcast with Sam Roberts.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. It's funny watching because Sam Roberts was also filming it, so I pretty much ruined his feed of it because I'm just in the background with my monopod, just like I'm like, that was a cool day though. That was really
cool, fun. Man. But, and you also did something really big for Under Armour, right?
So this was probably I think like four or 5 years ago, but it was with actually a lot of people who have moved over from Vine to YouTube. Jake Paul, the Dolan twins, a couple people like that. Which at the time I'm like, who are these kids? Like, what is Vine?
Just a bunch of multi-billionaires now.
Yeah, exactly. And
no biggie.
My wife loves YouTube stuff, and she's brought me over because I kind of like. I feel like I was kind of grew up just past that. Like I watched a lot of like I don't know if anyone remembers like E-Bombs World and stuff like that. Like those are like Funny or Die.
I love.
Stuff like,
I was on Funny or Die.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. We had we had one of my first like widespread videos or whatever that kind of went viral was the video I did in college, and we did, if you remember, Farmville. Do you remember that on Facebook?
No.
It was a big thing, like a big fad for a while, like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it's basically like kind of, it's like you maintain your farm. It sounds really,
no, I do remember. Yeah. Like zombies are trying to like eat your crops. Is that it?
I honestly never played
Something like that?
I think that's Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm getting it mixed up.
This is like, it's older, but so we did this video. I was in a comedy group in college, and we did a music video. Instead of Every Day I'm Hustling, it's Every Day I'm Harvesting.
Oh, I love that.
So we did like a spoof, like making fun of Farmville. And
oh man,
that got like, I think like 400,000 views, which for us that was pretty crazy.
No, that's great.
But they put it on Funny or Die, and they commented on it and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
I love Funny or Die. I miss all their stuff, man. There's this one video that I love when it was when Justin Bieber was super young. He was like 14.
Yeah,
I think I don't know if you've seen it or not, but he was like talking to the camera. He's like saying like, "Oh, I tried to get into the club, and they said like, oh, I couldn't get in because I'm too young. Should be in Chuck E. Cheese. So I ended up buying the club. Like, who's the kid now, bitch?"
That's amazing. Yeah, there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a cool day. That was actually an intense day, like shooting wise. So me and my buddy drove down from Jersey to Baltimore. That's where we shot it, and it's probably like three or 4 hours to get there. We drove down, got there during the day, shot the event, throughout the day, and then at night went back to Under Armour headquarters, edited the video that night, and drove back to Jersey. Got home at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I remember they gave us, because they felt bad. I was like, we were in like our work clothes and stuff, and they gave us like these giant extra Under Armour pants that they had laid
that's
around.
Legit.
Like it was like XXXL. Which I might be able to fit in it. No,
don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah, but it was cool. It was really, really cool experience. And that's one of the things I loved about, what I do.
Sure.
And it's just getting to do different stuff. It's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Drew, like every guest that we have on is very special to me. You know, I always tell Arnold, like whether it's in person or via Skype, it's not going to be any Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
Can you take us on that like journey, like us meeting at IWF, the Independent Wrestling Federation minor league school in New Jersey, the year we met? Any funny stories about me?
Yeah.
I always say, like, when I first started wrestling, I was somewhat not a hothead, but like, let's say if someone's gear smelled, I would like violently throw them out of the ring or something, or like, that's like how I was. I never like hurt anyone on purpose. You know, I was just very like passionate about the business.
Yeah.
But like, can you take us on that journey?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So it basically started. So New Jersey, you get your license when you're 17. So my birthday is actually February 28th, so it's coming up. But well, depending on when this airs, but so turned 17, got my license. I went to the first IWF show after that, and it's about an hour drive. I don't know if a lot of people know, but the school's in West Patterson, which isn't the greatest area, and I'm like an hour away. I had to drive, a month after I got my license, drive by myself. My parents were having a heart attack, but so I went to a show there. I got hooked, and then I'm like,
what year?
2005.
2005.
Yeah, so you were like 5 years in at that point?
I started September 11, 2002.
Oh, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we basically have the same amount of experience.
Fuck yeah.
Nah. But yeah, so it was cool. And then, I signed up that April, and I always looked up to you. You were
quiet though.
I was quiet. You always give me a hard time about that now.
Now
just like now in general, you always say you were so quiet, and
Yeah.
now you're like, now I'm a wise ass, but
yes.
I'm comfortable with you now. Before I was a 17-year-old, you were like big, bald, like you smelled of what's that stuff?
Hot stuff.
The hot stuff. Literally every time I smell that now, it just brings me back to those days. But
the hot stuff is the stuff like you can't put it on in WWE because some people are allergic, but you put hot stuff on, it makes your skin more red and vascular, and it has like a smell to it.
It's different from baby oil?
Yeah, way different.
Okay.
It smells like icy hot. I don't know if that's what it is.
Like icy hot.
All right. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very distinct smell. But I loved working with you. I don't think I got to practice with you too much, because I was starting out. But yeah, it was great. And I got some good experiences. I used to come up to you sometimes when we used to chain wrestle, pair off and chain wrestle, and I came up to you a couple of times just asking if you thought this made sense or certain things, because I looked up to him and I was like...
And I was never a dick.
No, not to me.
No, because I asked some people, was I ever a dick, You
were always cool. You were super helpful, and you gave me honest feedback and stuff. Because I was trying... right off the bat, because I'm a cocky bastard, I was like trying to see what cool, unique stuff I could do after learning the basics. But like, oh, can I like get to like an armbar from this? And does this way make sense? Because I didn't want it to look bad. And but like, so it's good. You helped me out with that. And
then you said you stopped going for a reason. We talked about this earlier. Yeah.
So all right. Again, I was 17, and Fred was a little intimidating, but great guy. Roman was a great guy, a little intimidating. But you guys had a match, and it was a big deal. I think it was
me
like
and Roman were like top students. You know, the golden.
It was like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they had a big match. I think it was like a chain match. It was a big blow off to their feud, and I was filming it. I was on the camera, and I was like, they had it on a riser. People would take turns being the ones to film it. Somehow, I don't know how, but I was looked at the camera in the middle of the match, and it wasn't recording anymore.
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
God.
they're gonna fucking kill me.
Oh my God, that's scary.
So like, as a 17-year-old, I'm like these giant guys who like, sometimes you got a little, heated, but not with me.
Oh,
you didn't? No, like just, you got passionate.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this guy's gonna kick my ass. And, you guys got color and stuff. Like, it was a big deal. It was a big match, and I missed, like, a chunk of it.
Damn.
So I think that's part of the reason why I stopped going. I went back a few months later for, like, one time. But also my parents had moved to West Jersey after that, and it was too much of a hike. But, so that was a big one.
Then did we stay in contact, or you went to Monmouth, correct?
Yeah, I went to Monmouth. We kind of kept in touch, but it was about, probably 3 or 4 years that we hadn't talked until you got signed by WWE or about to debut on NXT. I saw your little...
In 2009.
Yeah. I guess NXT started February of 2010.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got signed in 2009.
Yeah.
Okay, 2010.
Yeah, so I saw that you were on the graphic coming up, and that, so I reached out to you on Facebook.
And where were you at in your career?
I was finishing up my last semester at Monmouth.
And your major was?
I was a TV radio major. It's basically TV production there. But I was part of their TV station. It was called Hawk TV at Monmouth. And it's funny because for my last job, we shot some stuff at Monmouth, and I saw like some of my work plaques on the wall, some awards and stuff. But so I was a TV major and a minor in screen studies. So it's a pretty cool gig for someone who likes being, film, just studying and stuff. You watch a bunch of movies. But I produced some shows at Monmouth, and it was just a really, really cool experience. And graduated in 2010, and that's when I was at an internship in New York City at a post-production company. I think they changed their name, but they were Post Factory. But it was really cool. At the time, they were working on, I think Sofia Coppola was there, working on one of her movies. I can't remember the name of it right now. They're doing post-production on The Other Guys.
I love that movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. David Schwimmer randomly popped in.
Oh, man. I'm a big Friends fan.
I made him, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I made him coffee, and I'm like, I'm making David Schwimmer coffee right now. That's pretty cool.
After this podcast, I have to show you this Lego me and my wife just built. It's the whole Friends set.
I want to see it, and then almost walked directly into Steve Buscemi coming out of the bathroom.
Wow, man.
Didn't even know he was there, so imagine my surprise when I'm walking the corner, and it's like, all right, fucking Steve Buscemi. It's like in your face, but... so that was cool, and I just throughout my whole career I've just been trying to get as much experience as possible.
Sure.
And even like the summer going into my senior year, I reached out to WWE and had been in touch with them for like a year. So this is everything I was doing from that point on was to get there.
Wow.
And did you tell me then that you had reached out to? Because I feel like you were telling me your progress.
Yeah, we're in touch about that for sure. I was bugging the guy from HR, like, keep me in mind. I'm graduating in May. Just anything comes up, just let me know. So I drove up, interviewed for a couple jobs up there. The first one wasn't a great fit, and when I ended up going on the road later on, I'm so glad I didn't take that job because it would have been so intense. It's one of the jobs where you're in the control room on the truck behind Kevin Dunn, behind everything. Like I think you were on the phone with like USA Network, like coordinating, like it's going to break, like super intense for a live.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, a lot of pressure, and so I'm glad I didn't get that one. but they like everyone I interviewed with liked me, and they're like, "We'll find something for you."
Yeah.
And I think it was like 2 weeks later, maybe that.
And what year? 2010?
2010, yeah.
Okay.
So that was May of 2010.
And they hired you as?
Production assistant for their on-demand channel, which doesn't exist right now. But
finally, you had got hired.
Yeah, it was definitely a dream come true. That was, it's funny that some guy from Monmouth who I became friends with worked at WWE, and they had a whole binder of job listings at Monmouth in the TV department. Mm-hmm. And the guy who went to Monmouth just happened to email one of our advisors saying that we're looking to fill a position, just let me know. So the guy who helped get me the job was, some guy I went to school with also at Monmouth. And
wow.
Yeah, so that was, I didn't even think of that as an actual possibility that I would be able to work at WWE. It's always that kind of thing where it's like, same with me moving out to LA, like it's kind of like a, that would be cool, but it's like, how do you even do that?
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, like I'm actually qualified for this job. Like I would have to move to Stanford, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck Stanford, but no.
Yeah.
No, but
it's boring, right?
Dude, anytime there's the slightest curve in the road, everyone stops. Like,
oh my God, it's like that.
You're driving here, and it's like, awesome. People know how to drive around bends. Like, there's going to be a curve in the road.
Yeah, people drive crazy.
People in Connecticut are like, what is this? I see it every morning, but
amazing.
But it was a long journey.
Yeah, but then you got hired in 2010 for On Demand?
Yeah. Yep. So basically, my job there was to go through a lot of classic content. They had just started digitally archiving it, but a lot of it was still on tape. So I had to go in their massive library, grab the tape, which a lot of the times it was on, they had probably like 5 rows, and it was a giant tape library. It was like 5 rows. You slid the entire thing to get to the next aisle. And they didn't have ladders or anything, so people would literally climb. You would have to step 1 foot on each side and climb up. I'm like, if anyone like legit, fire department or anything came in, I would be like, sorry, you'd be caught red-handed. But it's definitely not. Digital. It's good that everything's now like. I'm sure everyone has access to it at their computer now.
Sure.
But so I would basically, starting out, I would basically just watch whatever show we're airing. It would be like one old school pay-per-view a month, and then a couple shorter things, and just a bunch of little things together. And it's basically all came down to watching old programming and repurposing it. And a lot of the times it would be like I did this with Fred, you would have a different theme each month and have a current wrestler host it to intro the older footage. So I got to work with Fred.
And thank God I wasn't an asshole to him.
I'm like, fuck this guy.
In 2005, because what goes around comes around. Now you're getting the opportunities on demand. And what was the opportunity that I had?
So yours was, it was a series of matches. I can't remember the theme of it, but basically they were called the shorties. So it's
I remember that.
Yeah, so it's like individual matches, and there's a theme for the matches. And to start it off, it was you and Titus. So you guys would start off, intro the clip, and it's cool because like a lot of times, like for you, I felt comfortable because I'd worked with you before, and but a lot of times I would write out the scripts, which was awesome. And I having a comedy background, I got to do a lot of working some of my style for the scripts, especially with like I did it a little bit with you, but you guys know your characters, super well.
But me, I was always a nervous wreck because Drew's in charge now. I'm like, Drew, is it okay? Like, how Titus is. Titus for a while, he's he knows that, very overpowering, So, did we make adjustments to the script? Could you see frustration in me at all?
No. I mean, see, my style is I like to have. I've done this for most of my projects. I like to have an outline, but I'm not above people putting their spin on it. Like, for example, you guys, know your character a lot better than I do. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what you would say. Yeah. You know what you're going to say. Yeah. I could write what I think maybe you would say, or write an outline of something, and then be like, okay, how would you guys say this? And then you do your thing that way. And that's kind of, I do that all the time, but I also like to be prepared in case people like to just read off the script and be like, okay, what are my lines? And just good to go. I did the same thing with my film that I did. Like, we'll do a take how it's written, because, you know, I wrote it for a certain way, but for that I worked with a lot of talented people, and that's called Raising the Dead, and a lot of really funny, talented people. I'm like, I'm not like a diva. Like, I'll write it. Let's just do one take this way. And if there's anything you want to try, let's do it that way. But same thing I did with you guys. And it was cool because I also got, that was in the arena I grew up going to shows at as a kid.
In Jersey?
Yeah, I think I seen you wrestle when you did some of the, like, you were
extra
stuff.
Town. Yes.
I saw you. And same thing with Punk. I got to produce a shoot with CM Punk. I'm going to come across as a huge mark, but he was my favorite wrestler since he started in WWE. I didn't really watch too much of the independent
Ring
stuff.
of Honor and all that.
But he was my favorite wrestler. I think just because, like, I mean, I got the tattoos and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That's kind of, I always wanted, like, you know, that's kind of my style. And I hadn't seen really anyone like him who looked like that.
Sure.
You know, so I got to produce a shoot with him at the same arena.
Yeah.
And it was just really surreal experience. He was apparently, they forgot to tell him they were doing the shoot, so he was super late. But I was waiting in there for him to come in, and then I see on his Twitter that he's at the gym, like, posting.
Oh, no.
Like, all right, we're going to be here a little bit. But no, it was cool.
And did he have an attitude? Was he aggressive?
No, he was actually really funny. He walks in, and I had just gotten a new tattoo, and he's like, oh, you didn't have that before. I'm like, you know who I am? This is crazy.
That's awesome.
I know the feeling, bro.
Yeah,
I know the feeling.
But he was always super nice. I was joking around with him because he messed up. And a lot of times I still do this.
Yeah.
When I'm nervous, sometimes I repeat the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, so I'll say, like, oh yeah, 100%, like, as a nervous tick kind
Sure,
of.
sure.
So for him, after every take, I would say perfect. Like, first take, I would just
When
say,
it's
oh,
not?
perfect. Exactly. But like, he would be done, and he would be done. But then one time he fucked up really bad and was like starting over. I'm like, perfect. And he's like, fuck you, but like joking.
Yeah.
He was like, give me a hard time.
That's funny.
But yeah, that was cool.
Did you happen to see his film, by the way? It just came out on Netflix.
No, I saw it's on Netflix. That's the hard part about living in a house with your wife who hates horror movies.
Oh, sure.
You gotta find times,
free time.
Yeah. It'll come up, like, especially now that it's on Netflix. I want to watch it. Did you see it?
Not yet, but I definitely do want to see it. And I got lucky because my wife does love horror films.
Oh, good, yeah.
You guys check it out.
Yeah, I'm like slowly easing her into stuff. Like, I got her to watch Dexter, which is kind of like, you know, has
thriller-ish.
Some
baby
but
steps.
it's got some, you know, got some stuff. But like, it's my master plan. Is just to
it's still dark.
Get her into, it'll work. But
I like it.
Yeah.
But after you were done with the shoot with Punk, what happened afterwards?
Oh, so that was. This is, I don't know if this is the story we were talking about before, but we had a shoot.
You drove with him.
Yeah. So that's the one. Yeah. So we're in Baltimore, and we. So it was 5 a.m. I guess I should start and say part of my responsibilities, in addition to the on-demand job, is after about 5 or 6 months, I would go on the road and fly out to wherever they were in the country that week for Raw, and I would bring back all the tapes. Because again, this was very old school 2010. I would bring back all the tapes from each individual camera for Raw, and then just literally fly back with the bags. And while I was there, I would help out backstage. I would make copies of the scripts, hand them out to everyone. And the script. Sorry, I'm outing.
No!
This isn't script. No.
Curtain call all over again.
Yeah, sorry, kick me out of here. No, but like, I would hand out the scripts and just help out, block traffic when they were doing backstage shoots and stuff like that. But I would always leave at like 4 or 5 in the morning after Raw and bring back the tapes.
Yeah.
And so in Baltimore, since it was close enough, we took the Amtrak down. Or I took the Amtrak. I was by myself, but I took the Amtrak down. And it's 5 a.m. I'm down at the hotel outside waiting for my cab. And Punk's out there, and he was dating Beth Phoenix at the time, so they were there together.
Wow, I didn't know they were dating.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think it was like a big thing. Like, I just kind of, I just saw it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
same
It's
things
cash.
happened. Like, I think Bree and Brian, when they were dating, like, it wasn't a real, I don't know, I mean, you probably know better than I do, but
I didn't really know that was going on.
I saw them together one time. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Eventually,
and they're like,
yeah.
Yeah, but so we're outside the hotel, and Punk comes out with Beth, and I knew my train station. I knew the location because I'm super like anal about stuff. I have to overly prepare like where I'm going, and there's a train station that's like 5 minutes away, and then there's also one at the airport, which is maybe half an hour away. And Punk's cab gets there first, and he's like, "Oh, you want to hitch a ride? I'm assuming you're going to the airport." And I'm like, in my head, it's like a long pause. I'm like, yes, I am. so I end up going to that one, which is way out of the way. But I knew I was good on time. I wasn't gonna like miss my train for that. But I'm like, I can't pass up the opportunity to share a cab with my favorite wrestler.
Absolutely.
And he was playing Words with Friends with Kofi.
Amazing.
Back then, and
Amazing.
That was the night after he announced that he was quitting WWE in 2011. Before like his shoot promo.
Oh wow.
He was like, I'm leaving and I have money in the bank. I'm taking the time. Like whatever. So I was like, are you actually leaving? Like he was gonna give me like some like inside tip or whatever, but he's like, yeah, I'm leaving, and it was cool. And then I got to another, last thing I think with him, but I knew that he was coming back that night that he returned after Money in the Bank. They did the whole deal with like everyone was backstage, like what's gonna happen to the title. They had that one night tournament that I think Cena won or Rey Mysterio won or something like that.
Rey Mysterio won and then Cena won the same night.
Yeah. And I knew Punk was coming back after that, so I was like on the side of the stage. You can kind of see me when when Punk's coming back and goes to the side. I'm like standing.
Cool.
And that, but it was cool, man. There's a lot of cool experiences being on the road like that.
I mean, just watching Drew backstage, he would be sweating his ass off,
really
so hard because it's a high stress job. Yeah. Everyone goes through it,
Yeah.
He'd be working his ass off. I think I asked you any kind of did any of the wrestlers or production people pull any ribs on you? Joke.
Yeah.
You had a Shawn Michaels one.
Yeah. I'd love to hear that.
So again, like part of my job there was to make copies of the script. So I would get a master copy from the writers. Most of the time that would be down to the wire. Like they would have their last copy when I'd say like Superstars is on and like being taped in probably like 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I'd have to run to the copy or wherever it was in the arena and then bring copies to Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, all, find where they are. And then, do that for Superstars, which was taped before Raw and then Raw. So one time it was like down to the wire again. I made the copies of the script for Superstars, and I was trying to get Vince's copy. I was knocking on his door. He wasn't answering, but I knew he was in there. And then I look over, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels are just, like, hanging out right there, and they're like, oh, keep knocking. Yeah, you're going to get fired, but you could, if you need to give it to him. And then I was like, okay. And then I just started, like, knocking, like, super timidly. And then Shawn Michaels is like, do you need to get in there? Like, do you really need to talk to him? I'm like, yeah, I just need to give him the script. He's like, okay, let me do it. He walks up to the door. He gives like almost like mocking me, like a really timid knock, and then like bursts open, starts doing his like, he wasn't doing like his full dance, but he was like,
oh my God.
He was being very over, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey Vince, someone's here for you. So I walk in, turn the corner, and then there's just Vince and The Undertaker sitting across from each other, super tight. Like you could tell they're having like a legit conversation, just staring at me as I walk in. I'm like, here's your Superstar script that you're probably not going to read anyway. But
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah. That's epic.
Just imagine working with Shawn when he was younger. I'd probably want to kill him, because...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he could wow the crowd, but backstage, like, I'd be nervous if he said that, oh, you're going to get fired. I'd be nervous.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on, man.
It's funny. I've had multiple... I think Triple H has said that to me a couple times, too. Like, God. Yeah, it's just... But, like, a lot of times they're just messing with you, but at the same time, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You got to assume that they're not.
Yeah.
And,
I was at the Performance Center. I had... coming back from my Tommy John, and I was seeing some of the talent there because I do love to coach too. And if I see good talent, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna, put these guys over. So when I came back from my injury and I saw Triple H, I said, oh, honey, I was down at the Performance Center, and I forget what the Asian wrestler's name was. I said, oh, you've got some great talent down there. And he was like, oh, they won't be around much longer. I'm like, damn, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. And pretty soon, maybe a year later, I wasn't around much longer.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm like, damn, what the hell? But anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely scary to hear that stuff. But.
Sure.
But, I mean, sorry to jump subjects, but on a good note, I had asked you, do you got your suit?
Oh, my God. Yes.
I said, do you got your suit?
Yes.
Because we're going to WrestleMania, bitch.
That's right, man.
So I got the news a couple of weeks ago. Again, I've been gone since 2017, so it's like I haven't burned any bridges. I've done tons of interviews. I've never buried anybody. I just told my truth, and they're inviting me back. Of course, when you go back for access, you got to play the game, right?
Yeah.
You play the game. Oh, you
no
look.
pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. You got to play the game. Oh, if MVP's back, maybe
Absolutely.
something can happen. But I'm just happy to be back and just see my fans. So when I got the phone call, I was genuinely excited, like a kid, So gone but not forgotten. So and it's been 10 years since. NXT because we were the originals with CM Punk.
Yes,
you said we were going to be done with him, but CM Punk was my coach, and
I was gone.
Yeah, you've had great experiences with him, but my experience with him was like we didn't say two words to one another.
Yeah.
And I wasn't out. I wasn't myself. I was just nervous.
Yeah.
And then when I came out publicly after his match with Brock Lesnar, all iced up in catering in L.A., Staples Center, he came up to me. I've shared the story, but he told me to stand up, and he embraced me. And he was, hey, I'm proud of you. If you have any problems with anyone in the locker room, you let me know. So you're like, what the hell? He didn't say two words. Anytime we had promos, he had his lines, I had my lines, and then we meet on the set, and he's just standing there. Ready to go when he was doing the Straight Edge Society, and Serena,
which you almost joined.
Yeah, and Ray saved me. But Serena and Luke Gallows was always kind to me. But CM Punk, he was just like,
I feel like he's the kind of guy who's like super loyal to his friends, but he's not like looking for more
new
people
friends
to be friends with.
He'll be cordial with strangers.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like it's just.
But he did ask Kofi. He was like, oh, what's this guy Darren Young? How's he? Because he knew Kofi and I kind of came from chaotic and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was trying to get the 4-on-1 on who's this rookie. He wants to know.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, man. We just he wasn't friendly to me.
Yeah.
He wasn't at all.
No, I mean, who knows? Also, it's hard for me to judge about that too, because who knows what's going on in people's personal lives at the time? People could come across I'm sure I've come across who's this guy, rest in bitch face a lot of the time. But I don't realize I'm doing it. I do that all the time, and people probably think I'm such a dick, but I'm just in my head a lot. But I try not to do that, think about that with people too, unless they're outwardly an asshole.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, whatever.
People say that about me sometimes, where if they don't talk to me and they just look at me from far away, they're like, oh, I shouldn't talk to this guy. But when they finally do, I'm like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you seem very approachable. I just met you today, but it's
thank you.
You got a very warm personality.
Oh, appreciate that. Likewise, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this guy's good people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't bring anyone that was suspicious.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now, working in WWE, was there? I know you mentioned Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and Triple H and CM Punk, but was there anyone else that you were just completely starstruck? Man, I can't believe I'm in the same room with him right now.
Wait, I think you're a big fan of Zach, right?
I am.
Me too.
Yeah.
Dude, I listened to his podcast.
Oh yeah,
the Major Figure Wrestling Figure podcast. Yeah,
it's funny because I actually just. So we rented out our house in New Jersey to move here because we can't buy here. So we knew we were renting equity, adult stuff. I don't know, other buzzwords, but so we knew. So I had some old wrestling stuff in my attic.
Yeah.
And the new tenant, she's a single mom. She has 2 kids. One of the kids is a huge wrestling fan. He actually has his own podcast. He's 10, I think.
Oh, wow.
But
wow, amazing.
So I had a old Zack Ryder wrestle buddy that they came out with.
Yeah.
And I gave that to him because otherwise it would have just sat in my attic.
Yeah.
But I felt I'm like, all right, I'll do something. I'll pass it on. Hopefully he enjoyed it because he was actually a huge Zack Ryder fan too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, might have left my headband there too. I can't remember if I left that for him. But
the one with the hair attached to it? Or
no, I didn't get that one. I got just like the regular.
Sure.
Yeah, but when I was talking before about being able to kind of work my, comedy background and stuff into the scripts, I started a show with the guy who helped get me hired from Monmouth. We were in the same department. So we both created the show with Zach called Zach Redder's Ice 3. It's still on YouTube if you want to check it out. February, I forget what year it was, 2012 maybe. That's my favorite episode. So if you go on, I think it's the only one that's February on there. So if you search Zach Ryder's Ice 3 February, it's a 3-parter.
Wait, was this after because he started his YouTube channel on his own? Is this the one where like WWE's kind of like taking control of it?
No, it's not, because they kind of did like a continuation of his, like just like they're on their platform. Yeah. This is something completely different. Like this is something that. Yeah. So basically, again, the same idea of repurposing old content with current wrestlers as the host, but every month we would have 3 matches. It's like the Ice 3.
Oh,
but we had a lot of fun with it. We would put in little pop-ups and have him come on screen and say something funny, trivia from the year that the match was from. Yeah. But like that's why I got to have like a lot of fun.
Oh, like great.
He was like, one of them was like, in the year like Fleetwood Mac was big, if I was back then, I would be Fleetwood Zach, and then like named a bunch of like puns off their songs or something like that.
Love it.
But I got to do something with that month was before they were Superstars month. I think you guys actually, that was the month that you guys hosted the thing for us, because I remember it cut into you guys at some point. But it was cool. Him and Hawkins, we shot that in Connecticut.
Awesome.
But that was probably the most fun I had, because he was up for whatever.
Yeah.
He would have a lot of fun. One time I was dressed as Santa, and he beat me up as Santa, like gave me a shot.
Yeah.
I would like throw, I don't remember why, but I threw a bunch of tennis balls at him, and like it just had something to do with like maybe Jim Cornette or something like that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then one time he had like the broski of the month. He would pick a different person.
Yeah.
So one time it was like William Regal, and I went to Party City and got like a congrats grad hat, like a graduation hat, but crossed out grad and put William going across the top. It was like just super cheesy humor, but
that's awesome.
He was up for whatever, and I loved working with him. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Very talented, man.
Oh yeah, so underrated.
I had to bring his name up because I know you love him too.
Yeah, the reason why I love him is because I feel so like all the stuff that he's into, like I'm into as well, obviously, because we're like the same age. Like I know like I might look younger or whatever, but like we grew up around the same time. And when I listen to his podcast, I also collect wrestling figures. I got like tubs of them and all that. So awesome, it's like I feel like if we were to hang out for one day, like we could just like chop it up for like hours.
Do you ever feel like when you listen to someone's podcast or like see them on TV so much and know so much about them, and then you forget you're not actually friends with them?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy, like we would totally get it. And I'm like, wait, I don't actually know this person. Like I saw them.
Yeah. That's how I feel with Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I listen to like his podcast like too much, and then I feel like, man, I feel like I know this guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I know.
It's like he doesn't know who I am.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice injection of reality there.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, Zach was he was definitely really fun to work with. Gotta give him props for putting up with all my shit.
Sure.
I love cheesy comedy.
Yeah.
Stuff that probably I'm the only one who gets the reference for.
Right.
And if I make myself laugh, that's my goal, and then hopefully I make other people laugh too. But he was definitely on board for all that. So
yeah, and that's awesome that you having the experience with WWE, because as Fred mentioned, a lot of people mentioned, it's like if you work in WWE, I feel like you can work anywhere because
it's
the pressure. You're constantly multitasking. It's almost like one take.
Yeah,
for most
part.
It's
crazy. I mean, going back to the stuff I had to do on the road, like just working on a live show, even if I'm not a big part of it, just having a little part in that environment is a learning experience that you can't get. I think I learned more in like a year than I did, probably less than that, I did in 4 years of college. Yeah. And just walking around, sweating my ass off like Fred had to Yeah,
You
out
were,
on
bro.
that,
You
but
were, man.
I was. It was bad because sometimes the arena is laid out where the copy machine's on the opposite side. You have to go one hallway all the way around, and then
You know how big a hallway is,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, you've been in hallways, I'm sure.
I'm familiar with them,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, you
Been
got
one
it.
or two.
Arena hallways are
Yeah,
huge.
they are
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
And I had to wear dress shoes, so I'm on my feet, getting like blistered like crazy. Like, can't wait to take that. We're gonna dress socks. Like, and then I have to worry about the fucking pyro going off.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
even when I know it's coming, you're right there pretty much.
Still a
like,
huge
and
impact.
It's so loud.
Yeah.
So like I would always jump whenever I'm talking to Freddie. Would laugh his ass off.
It never gets old.
Yeah, but it's definitely a crash course and
that's funny. And that's funny you say that because when I was doing the musical, people were complaining about not having breaks, and I'm like saying breaks.
Yeah, what are those?
What do I need a break for? All right, you guys gonna take a break? Well, I'm gonna get my massage ball, lay horizontal on my towel, and read my script. That'll be my break.
Yeah,
I don't eat till 4 p.m. anyway, so you guys take your breaks. When we're back on set, I'll be right back on.
Yeah,
But I'm like, breaks?
Yeah.
I don't need breaks. WWE, I'm first one there, last one to leave. Same thing with this project.
Yeah.
But with Drew, I gotta say, through it all, through everything he's created for me, your position, you're expensive, right? I mean, it can be a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, it's definitely so. Like, I think that's part of the reason. I think part of the reason why. Yeah, it's a definitely, especially someone like me who tries. I have a hard time like delegating experience, if I think that's the word, but basically just giving things away to other people. I like having my hands in.
You have to be in control.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little better about that.
So you have trust issues? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, only in this thing. I'm very sensitive with this stuff, so that's why I'm like, I have a vision, like I have it laid out beforehand, and people have their own vision, and it's sometimes hard to get it to match. But I'm trying to give away control for certain things better. But so I would no. Yeah, I forgot where I was going with.
No, but through it all the projects you have created for me, I'm like, Drew, what can I do for you? What can I pay you? What can I do for you? One of the times you said, just get me an Xbox.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. Xbox. All right, so I'll say another thing that you did for me too after this, because that was super cool. But yeah, I wanted an Xbox. It was me and my best friend were living in an apartment together. We hadn't lived in the same state for probably like 5 years before that. And, it was a great year. It was awesome. We played Nintendo 64 all the time. But I think this was the first video game that you were in. So I was like, I wanted that game, but I didn't have Xbox One. And I think it might have been and I'm sure it was on 360 also, but it was broken. So I was like, that's all I want. Like, you don't need to pay me like as much as I would charge anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, I just want an Xbox. Like, play with my buddy.
Yeah.
And then play as you. Like, it was.
That's
it was
cool, man.
Yeah. But you donated to my movie that I made when we had a GoFundMe.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and that was really like awesome. That was such a big help, and it's hard trying to raise money for stuff like that because a lot of people have projects that they're working on. There's constantly fundraising stuff. There's, you could go on Facebook and probably see like 5 of your friends who are trying to raise money. So it's hard getting money for a film. And my film was only 35 minutes long. So it's not like a whole, giant production, but it was still enough where we needed a few $1,000s. Yeah. But you chipped in, you probably one of the bigger donators to that, and like I don't forget that. Like that's pretty huge, and I definitely appreciate it. So. And
then the last project you created for me was November, the match with the Ray
Jazz.
Eventually, there's gonna come a point. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? And then you said, help me get in better shape. Well, whatever you got to do, shit. I'm at LA Fitness in the morning. Yeah. We can link up. You can.
Sorry, I'm busy that day. No.
I know. Hey, I'm available. We can work out together. You can do half of it. I mean, slow and steady wins the race. I don't kill. I've never killed anybody working out.
Not that we know of.
Yeah, right.
I'm
I was one of them.
Yeah.
I'm not about that life. You know how I work.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
to keep it moving in and out. The power hour. We don't got time to spend 3 hours in the gym.
No, I know. I don't. That's not
We
my
don't got
style.
time,
Yeah.
so we got to keep it moving. And to keep it moving, less rest and more sets. You know. Stuff that's going to really taper the body. So however we can help each other, man.
Yeah. Because whenever I work with someone like I'm friends with, I don't like the idea of exchanging money. Like I'll do you a favor, but like at the same time, like if there's
exchanging
anything
strengths
ever,
almost.
exactly.
Whatever it
Almost
takes.
bartering.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, but I'm a man that likes to pay my debt. You know, I don't like to take advantage of anybody. So whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
I mean, that's a pretty nice car you got out there. Are you looking to pass that on to me? No,
You're too much.
you get your California license plates for me, so I don't have to go to the DMV. Gotta take care of all that soon. That's gonna be fun.
Well,
I hate that mess, man.
I'm not looking forward to it. And I have a lease, which I drove cross country in the lease, so I guess I'm breaking that. But well, all right. So I have over 3 years, 36,000 miles. So I'm just gonna switch to financing before then, which a lot of people recommend anyway, rather than like buying it first and then it's lease to buy.
Yes,
It's usually the better value.
Yeah.
So.
I was telling Drew, I envision him working for Fox Sports.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I just envision him, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I would love to work on like WWE's backstage show.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would be super cool.
Yeah.
Because
Where do they shoot that? Do you know?
I think
Yeah,
in
they
Culver
shoot-
City.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's right down the road.
It's not far from us.
Yeah. I guess down the road. I don't know. It still takes an hour, but I think it's there. I applied for a job there, but it was. I think the job listing was like 3 months. Like it had already been filled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, but I didn't leave WWE because I didn't like it anymore. Like I didn't like the place. I just didn't. So my sister just had a baby in New Jersey, and I would go down pretty much every weekend to visit them.
Yeah.
And I hated living in Connecticut.
Yeah.
It just takes a toll on you when you don't like where you live.
Of course.
You could love your job as much as
Yeah.
it could be an awesome job, but at the end of the day, you go home.
It's your living
and
situation.
If you're not happy with where you live, it's
Yeah.
So my heart was in New Jersey at that time, and I'm glad I did it. I have no regrets. I got to watch my niece grow up.
Yeah.
And very close to them, and then my two nephews on that side.
Yeah.
And I was literally probably about a mile from them.
That's great.
Yeah, so that was great. It's that's probably going to be the hardest part for me living in LA. It's just being so far away from them.
Well, that's what FaceTime is for.
Exactly.
It's a plane ride away. You know.
And it's funny because just crazy how life works. Also, is my other sister. She's married to a guy who was in the Secret Service and covered like Donald Trump and like all the Tiffany
That's
Trump.
heavy.
I think at some point, yeah. But he was like, after a while, he just wanted to switch jobs because he was just politics and stuff.
I'm sure.
So
Drains you.
Yeah. So he was trying to get into ATF for years, like alcohol, tobacco, firearms. And we got to the point where they're like, okay, it's probably not going to happen. And then we decided we were moving to LA in February. That was our goal for we had 6 months in the making. Pretty much, we knew February was going to be the date. And then he finally got the job at the ATF, and they moved to Georgia. Literally this weekend, they moved to Georgia. So after all of us living in the same state for pretty much, other than my time at WWE, and I was 2 hours away. The same week that we moved to LA, my sister moved to Georgia with her husband and kids. So it's just my parents are. I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
It's a plane ride away, man.
Yeah,
I know.
absolutely.
And they have more places to visit.
There you go.
So, yeah, but it's just it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I remember Drew was visiting, and I saw you. I saw you at the one time I went to my secret tea spot. But there was a time when you came out here, and I think I said I was going to hang out with you, and then something felt.
Well, it was the day of Pride, that was Gay Pride.
And then and then something happened, and then you said, "Oh man, I was looking forward to seeing you," and I felt so sick. That felt so sick. I said, I'm going to this motherfucker's wedding.
Yeah,
and I'm coming to your wedding. And me and my mom
showed up. You guys made the trip. A lot of people, like a lot of our friends, like could have probably made their like adjusted plans to be able to come. You flew across the country to come.
I had to do it.
It's funny. We were trying to get to the Griffith Observatory that night because I've always wanted to go there. And I'm like, hey, Fred, you want to come? And I think you were doing like a table. You had some kind of thing going on at Pride, and you got caught up, which is understandable. But went up, tried to go to the observatory, and of course there was a fucking Kids Bop concert at the Greek, and it just wasn't like, I don't know, we couldn't even make it up, and by the time we got to the top, it was closed. So we went back down. Last time we were in LA in September, we were going to visit my wife's cousin, and she lives in Eagle Rock, and we're like, okay, we have a little bit of time to kill. It's on the way from where we are. Let's try one more time for the observatory. Get up to the top of the hill. It's sunset, so everyone's there.
Yeah.
Couldn't park, and we missed it again. So
man.
My goal now is I just want to see the Griffith Observatory, and
you got to see it twice, during the day and the night, because it's two different things.
Oh yeah,
it's two different things.
And definitely not during sunset though, unless I'd park and walk up.
Yeah.
We're about to do that, and we didn't have enough time.
And always try to go all the way to the top for parking spots, because sometimes like people will try to fool you. Like, it looks like it's packed. Like everyone's already started like parked downhill. Yeah. But just go to the top anyway. Sometimes like I do that, and I go to the top. I'm like, what the hell? There's so many parking spots.
Yeah. That's the story of our lives.
Yeah.
Just do that.
But man, I would love to see you work for WWE backstage. I feel like that's right around your alley, man.
I love wrestling. I still love wrestling.
You grew up watching it, no?
I did, I grew up. I mean, my dad wasn't a fan or anything, so I kind of got into it probably around like third grade.
Sure.
And I remember my friends would talk about it, like things that happened. This was during the Attitude Era.
Of course, like that's what Tuesday mornings are for.
Exactly.
You catch up
so,
and like
so
talk
I'm
about
like,
it.
Man, that sounds really cool. So I started getting into it. My dad, like pretty much every year since then, he was like, "Oh, you're still a wrestling fan?" Like even up until like a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's funny. We still when we talk about Fred, we still refer to him as Bone Crusher.
Yeah. That's cool.
And my mom and my dad, I guess, like their dad jokes or whatever, they would always call me Crush Bones. I was like 17. They're like, "Oh, you like."
Yeah.
Very funny.
Growing up, who was your favorite?
It's funny that I don't have like that many memories other than like, I love The Rock.
Sure.
But I had weird favorites like Maven.
Oh, that's great. That's great. The first Tough Enough winner, man. Hell yeah.
Maven was my favorite. And it was funny because I used to write for his website.
Yeah.
Like I used to write I did like a Raw recap or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that.
I got so happy when he won the Hardcore Championship.
Yeah.
Like his first year.
The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
that was nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I wanted Josh to win though. Josh
Matthews. Later became a commentator, right?
Yeah, and it's funny again. Whatever. It's gonna be embarrassing for me, but So on my birthday, this is the reason, by the way, why I will never drink before flying again, because like the day before, because I had the worst hangover of my life flying back from Portland, Oregon. But I got there at night to Portland, and Josh was at the bar next to me, and it was him and another like production worker, so they invited me over. And they were just buying me shots of Jack and Coke. Who were like, I never drink liquor.
Yeah.
And I got so drunk, and I was like, dude, I wanted you to win Tough Enough so bad. Like, I was like, I don't know. It was so. And then the next day, I'm like, fuck.
What did I say?
I would try to find a different route to any TV hotel. Find a different route to like skip the bar, because when you're new, people Pastor, come to the bar. People gonna get you drunk, and then you get sick. Like,
I'm not gonna name his name because he's like, I'm actually hopefully gonna meet up with him out here because he's in LA.
Sure.
But he's a writer, and he really nice guy. He had just started. And we watched the Super Bowl in Oklahoma City. A lot of the production people, he was a writer, and he was very new. And Cena was there. I think Michael Cole was up there. They were up in like a separate room by themselves, but then came back down later on and just watched it all with us. And Cena was buying this guy drinks like nonstop. he ended up paying for everyone's meal, but he was like kind of hazing this guy a little bit.
Oh, God.
And he ends up puking in the middle of the floor in front of, like, trying to make it to the bathroom. It was a lot. Like, he just drank a lot. And it's funny though, Cena came over after the guy left, like the people, you know, his friends took him back, and Cena walks up with the mop and he starts mopping up his puke. And he's like, you don't see Rock doing this. You don't see Hogan doing this.
That's good.
And he's like cleaning up for him, like having fun, you know, messing around and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I had a lot of great experiences with Cena. I thought he was a really nice guy. And,
That's
you know,
great.
like I said, he bought everyone's meal.
Yeah.
I paid for everyone. You know, I went up to him the next day, shook his hand, and said thanks. And
Yeah.
he actually complimented me on. Shit, I got one more CM Punk thing story.
No, all good, man. All good.
I like
It all ties in, you know?
at the height of. It's funny. The most interactions I've had consistently with the wrestler just happens to be my favorite wrestler.
Sure.
It's not coincidence, but I wore Zack Ryder's basic T-shirt, the one that basically had a picture of him and his name underneath.
Oh, his first shirt.
Yeah, like he's like, I finally got a shirt. Like,
Yeah.
but they had, you know, it wasn't like a design thing.
Sure,
it was
it's just
like a
him.
basic. So, but I was wearing that around, and I wore it at the airport, and this is when like all the other wrestlers were kind of like hyping him up too and trying to like, you know, whatever, trying to help him out. And so like I'm in one of the shops getting a drink, and Cena walks in. He's at the airport, and he's like, "Nice shirt, bro," and then keeps walking. I'm like, "Damn, that's cool."
Yeah.
And then fucking I'm waiting in line to board my plane. And Punk walks up and he's like, "Excuse me, can I take a picture of you because of your shirt?" But he didn't really say that, and so he took a picture of me wearing the shirt and posted it on his Twitter.
Oh, that's cool.
And so like some of my friends back home were like, "Yeah, I saw Punk post a picture of you," but I didn't. I thought he was getting just a picture of the shirt, and then I look online later and it's just me being like 5 a.m. with my fucking suitcase, just like rolling it out, like. But yeah. I've had nothing but good interactions. I haven't really had any bad interactions with any of the wrestlers.
Wait, you said the Randy Orton.
Yeah, that was kind of like what the fuck just happened more than like a bad experience. So I'm hanging outside Gorilla, just, you know, whatever. I have some downtime, so I'm just kind of keeping myself central in case anyone needs to help or anything. And Orton's oiling himself up like he tends to do. And he just, you know, he's like covered, and then he has it all over his hands. His music hits. And he just walks up to me. I've never said a word to him in my life. Like, this is our first interaction. And he just wipes it all over.
How rude is that,
me,
Randy?
All over my shirt, and just like gets it all over. I'm
so
just like,
rude, Randy.
I'm like, all right. Well, I guess that just happened.
What year was this?
2012 maybe. I was on the road from 2011 to 2012.
Okay.
So it was one of those years.
Wow.
Again, it wasn't like I wasn't like mad or anything. It was just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you dressed up.
Yeah.
But I mean, like that is a douchey move. Like, I mean, you weren't mad because you're a nice guy.
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty easygoing with that stuff. But yeah, if I was wearing a suit, maybe I would have been more upset. But I think I was wearing like a light colored shirt. You couldn't really see.
Yeah.
It looked like I was like lactating or something.
That's funny.
Yeah. But it was.
Yeah, that was so fun. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
There's towels around there.
Yeah, I know. There were a lot of towels there. And
I would just use the curtain that we go out. Just do that. But yeah, Randy's Randy.
I do have to come clean now too, because I remember why I was standing there is because they had an unlimited supply of those Uncrustables.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, God.
So I would always eat that because I would work up an appetite running around. So like I would literally just go up and eat the Uncrustables out of.
Dude, I love the chocolate hazelnut. That's my jam.
Oh my God,
it's the
so
best.
Good. Yeah.
You remember the one wrestler, Ezekiel Jackson?
Yeah, he would take it.
Yeah.
Wait,
did I say?
Yeah. Yeah, and he would say, "Oh, it's for my kids," but it's like really like for him.
Yeah, he would take 3 or 4 full boxes.
I've seen him do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
he choked one of the production guys out one time at the table there, like messing around with him, like he had his neck.
joking?
He was like messing around with him, but I think he like legit choked him out by accident.
Damn.
God.
In catering. I'm just like, what is happening right now?
What, because of the Uncrustables?
No, they're two different things. I mean, he might have been like on a sugar high for the Uncrustables.
Sugar high.
I was like, those things make you do
Can't
crazy
handle their
things, but
sugar.
Yeah, no.
But
Like,
come on,
jelly, you need
you
more.
make enough money. You don't need to take 4 boxes home.
Well, didn't you say like?
But he would eat them.
I remember you telling me. I don't know if you. I'm not gonna say the guy's name in case like you told me in confidence. But I know a lot of times like one wrestler would always sleep on your floor in the hotel room or like try to.
Oh, Yoshi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone
Yoshi
knows.
does you?
Yeah, everyone knows that.
He would like never get. You say like he would never get his own room or something. Like always try to crash on people's.
Yeah, I was a
floors.
nice guy. If I had a room, I'd let him. But it got too much.
Yeah, well, it's
Too
like
much. Too much.
Yeah,
You know,
need your space.
you might have company in the room or something, but yeah, he don't want to pay for a room, man. I mean, that's everyone knows that. So,
yeah. I know. I don't know. Like again,
Yoshi
I'm trying to
knows
cover myself.
too.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover
he knows.
myself.
He knows.
Yeah, but he's. No, it was. I mean, Uncrustables, man.
They're the best. I get it. I get it.
I
Man.
totally get it. But Costco. You go to Costco or Sam's Club or I don't remember what BJ's.
Well, if it's free, it's for me.
Exactly. Dude, Uncrustables and Diet Root Beer were my jam.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah.
One last thing I got to say about Drew is that he knows me so well inside and out. The video he did with Francis, my first match back since being released. Yeah, I was asking Drew.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I said to Drew, I want the video to start off like impactful and then go to, what you have planned. And what do they call that?
It's kind of like a cold open.
Oh, is it a cold open?
Well, for those kind of videos, I guess like it might have a different thing, but usually like I would refer to that as like. Yeah, just like having like a big start and then like kind of calming down. That's what a lot of TV shows do.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just envisioned but you said the term, and then you had it.
Yeah.
It started off with the fan in the crowd who I thought was like a teenager. He was almost 30, and he hit Francis.
Yes,
he
I
chopped
saw
him.
that.
So that was
Yeah.
how he started, so people can maybe get hooked on it. But he just knows me so well.
Yeah, I
Drew.
know. Yeah, and a lot of times like it's good. I love working with people I feel comfortable like directing a little bit, and I know you would take it like as you would be open to the idea.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you work with people and you don't know how they're gonna take. Ideas, but you're always open, and I'm like, all right, let me just try it this way and see what you think. If not, if you hate it, we'll change it. And usually we end up like finding a middle ground or it works out.
Sure.
But it's
Yeah, you're the best, and I'm my own worst critic. I always had a stubborn problem when I was a kid, so sometimes it comes and goes. And I was like, oh, Drew, I stumbled over this, and you just know how to clean it up, and you know how to give me that confidence to say, oh, it sounded good,
I always like to edit in my head as I'm shooting.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, okay, I'll just cover this in B-roll. I'll take out the bite where you stumble a little bit.
Yes.
Put a clip over it. Like I'm doing it as I'm shooting.
Yeah.
It.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I know like I'm pretty much there with the piece. I know exactly what shots I need to get now for it to come. But I think that's a benefit of, again, if I was just a shooter and not an editor, then I don't think I'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
So now I'm shooting and not shooting hours of stuff when I know what I'm going to use. As soon as I get the take, I'm like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
And I always love working with you, and I'm glad we're in the same city now.
Thank
Best
you,
time of the
Drew,
year.
for being
thanks for
part of
having
this
me.
episode, man. It's a
appreciate
blast. Now that you're like our neighbor.
I know, yeah.
We can hang out more.
I've been listening to your guys' podcast, and it's cool to be here in person.
Yeah.
Have you guys had a third person here before?
His mom.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
My mom.
Yeah.
The only one?
Big shoes. to
Yeah, it's the
fill.
only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in good company.
Yeah. I think in the future we would have the one girl, Zeta Zhang. She was in NXT. She's out here in LA. So, whenever we can have a guest here in person, I always, check it with my main man, Arnold, and we go with it.
Yeah, man. Is there anything you want to plug before we go out?
Well, I mean, I guess what I'm up to now these days, I'm looking into getting into film editing. I got in the Editors Guild for my work out on the East Coast, and I applied before I got out here. So if anyone is looking to hire an editor or assistant editor, my website's drewjerseyproductions.com, because I got to keep a little bit of New Jersey.
Hell yeah, that's your brand.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to get in the door any way I can. So
great, man. And they follow you on Instagram at
it's at Drew Jersey Productions.
Cool.
That's my main one for the work. The other one's just pictures of cats.
Nice. I love it. Love it.
You too.
Yeah.
Loyalty right here
Yeah, man.
on both ends.
Yeah. Anything you want to say, Fred?
Oh, this was a dynamite episode, man. And
absolutely.
And we're like hour and 30 in, man.
Yeah.
So this was
Flew.
Yeah.
it flew by, and we haven't seen each other in 3 weeks. So yeah, we're right back on schedule, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again so much for watching. And until then, we'll see you guys next time.
Block the hate, baby.
Boom.